I'll bring the game up for you guys. We can keep this. It's better. Keep. I'll throw away the Sprite. So. Flagstone. So we're playing Boom Bust, probably. The snare would be nice here. Or would have been. I could have kept that hand, probably. So, yeah. So, but that's why Simian Spirit Guide got the axe. If you look at it from the macro point of view, everything in the format, yeah, the format just can't handle turn 2 Blood Moon. It's too destroying. You would see everyone play Merfolk with 20 islands. You know? I really wish I had. Probably should have played the Delta because I knew what he's on. Alright, we'll play the Delta. Well, it's just a different perspective of looking at the situation, looking at everything that's involved in it. So, I'm not saying it's the only reason it was banned. I mean, pitching a card, you know, to exile for a red mana, I mean, that's broken in itself. It's always very good, and you always have to worry about it. But it took out Gorya's Vengeance decks that played that combo for that extra little mana. So we're gonna counter this. So he's playing super heavy land destruction. So I expect land destruction next turn too. So go ahead and create a token. If you're playing in paper, what is the correct way to discard random cards? You can, in my experience, if you have 6 cards in hand, you take a 6-sided die and you roll, and then you put them all out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You roll the dice. If it's a 4, you take the 4th card. You roll the dice again, then you take the 2nd card. Or you just have your opponent, you shuffle them up, put them out, your opponent just picks 3 or whatever. There's no like super there's no like consistent way to do it, but that's how I do it because it's truly random at that point. But both the opponent and you have to agree on how to go about that. So, and once you agree, then it's good. And you always have a D6 around, so it's not that hard to do it that way. And if you have 3 cards, you just say the first card is 1 and 4, the second card is 2 and 5, the third card is 3 and 6. You know, you do it that way. Vindicate. Sure. So we're going to do Shinobi. Hopefully you destroy some of his lands off of the Shinobi. Hopefully he pees himself and it's like, oh my god, what's going on? Because he also could have... He could have Path Exile here. So Path is bad. But he gives me another land, so... He has to read the card. So hopefully it doesn't have removal. Nice. So I can't play the Shrine, but I can play this. So So what Shinobi does, guys, is when he does combat damage. Oh yeah, I just don't pay mana tithe. It's funny that we were just talking about that card. So what this card does is you can ninjutsu it in, and whenever he just gives up. When he does combat damage to an opponent, you look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's library, and you get to play them without paying their mana cost. So that is what my deck is doing at the moment. So the question is do I bring in all this kind of... I forget how he tries to kill me. So I'm going to take out a push or 2. Brutality's good. Snare's good. I don't think Dress Down's good. I wonder if he's playing Faeries, because the Gus is good. Well, if he's playing the Johnny version, because some of these things play Johnny, I think we could bring in the Mystical Disputes. Yeah, he's not playing blue, but... And then maybe Sprite is slow, so we'll take one of those out. And then if he's playing Blood Moon, which he could, we'll bring the E for Blood Moon. Okay, we'll go with this. Okay. Okay, well then I sideboarded correctly. And we can keep this. Not proud that you know. I mean, it makes sense. So, I'm assuming Counterspell goes here. So, or the Brutality. So, Brutality hurts him pretty bad. So, and what I do is I play the Delta and just don't pop it till later. So he just can't. He can't get ahead on land destruction. Bye-bye, Counterspell. Cool. So if he tries to boom bust, then I can counter it. Yep. And we just keep it like this. Yep. That. Yeah. And from right, yeah. Not a fan of that card. And that's really why, like, extra counter spells come in. For you just need it more. And it's kind of why Sprite's good. But Sprite's pretty bad in a lot of cases, too. Yep. So. I probably should have Brutality. But I didn't. So I really wanted to do Brutality, so I have Snare up for the next turn. That's really what I want. Prison. Okay, we can get around this pretty easily. For the big creatures, Bitter Blossom is not good here, but we can't counter this. So, but he's not destroying a land, so we're kind of happy. Do I grab a... I think I grab a Swamp here. Yes, the Morningtide. So the... Oh my god. What's that? Attacks each turn, if able to. 6/1. As enters the battlefield, choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. This protection from the mana value other than the chosen number. Wow. Really want to keep my mana available. So he's not going to have anything for a while to counter. So can he play? He can play that next turn if he draws a land. And then I can get rid of it. Okay, we'll get rid of the Molten Rain. That's one, I can't deal with it right now. So yeah. But that's super niche and you know what they're playing. You know what I mean? So I want to make this Morningtide super beefy. So he can so we're just gonna play the control deck. Be the control deck. So we just gotta know he has Mana Tithe and hopefully he tries to play something. The Baleful Mastery is actually a test card that I'm testing this league. It hasn't been as good as I thought it would be, but I'm not sure. Them drawing a card just hurts too much. So, all right, they have that. So I'm not worried about playing Morningtide right now. So, and I'm pretty much outside the Blood Moon range. So I'll have plenty of basics coming through, Force Negation. So, but I will end up killing this guy with a really big Morningtide eventually. So, okay, probably going to Borrower at the end of his. Get a threat down. Yep, draw that card. Stone Rain. Might as well do it now. So, well. Do I just counter it? Counter it with that and then Borrower. That might be the last land destruction spell I counter. So, but he has Tithe, so we have to respect that. Even though I can do something about it with negation, I don't want to spend my negations like that. So, a lot of playing control is patience. So, what I do here is preemptively just Snapcaster Mage. And we hit Counterspell. So if he plays anything after this, so he's going to see quite a bit. So he'll probably take the Borrower. He'll probably take this. There's an argument I should bounce the Prison here too. But I don't mind if but he'll take like Force Negation or something like that. He only has 3 choices, and actually this is a relatively hard choice too, because he's making my Morningtide bigger, which is why Morningtide's awesome. And this is a prime example of why main card discard is not being played right now. So, we're gonna bounce that. So we're not going to play that yet, but we just want to bounce it. Cool. And we didn't play it because we don't have... we didn't have enough mana to like do everything else and counter it and stuff. So I just knew I didn't want him taking the Snapcaster, but we drew the counter spell too. So we'll try to Breathing Borrower. Yep. Definitely get rid of that. So all right, we're gonna make him deal. So the thing about control in this deck, sometimes there are times where you just let them deal with these threats on the table before we worry about anything else, because we don't know what he has, and we don't have super protection. So there's an argument I should have just let that hit and kill it. So whatever he gets, I can get rid of it, and I don't mind that. Has protection from each mana value other than the chosen number. It's 2. Okay, so we're fine with that. So and see, and this is why Morningtide is not played ever. So, and this is why Doomblade's really good right now. Cast down does not kill that creature. But not saying you're going to see that a lot. This is the first time I played this in months. So I can Murktide, or I could just do that. Yep. Do that. We don't have to worry about anything, so we're going to Murktide. Well, without protection. That's the question here, is without protection. Because he's playing Vindicate, he's playing all these, but he's also playing, I think it's better, he's also playing 1, 2, 3, and then I keep the Doomblade, and I keep the Force Negation. No, keep the Counterspell. Take the Delta. So his land destruction really doesn't affect me now, and that's one thing about this deck that that's just not that good. I can bounce this whenever I want, so I'm not too worried about it. He still has Morningtide in his hand. So unleash the murky tide. Maybe I need to do something. Woohoo! We went out. So we end up going 3-2 in our league. Our only 2 losses are to 4-color elementals.